coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. And birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. The front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, wanting just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
I got distracted and I didn't turn off the mute. So good morning to Georgie, who was first. Native Pride, Joan, Tammy, good morning. Greg of Scotland, good morning. Mary Dale, good morning. Uh, who else? It looks like, Voss, good morning, Voss. Yeah, I didn't do much. I didn't say much. You guys didn't miss much. I just said that Georgie's in a mood. I put chocolate, whipped cream, and caramel in my coffee today. I don't do that often. Not a thing that I do often. But I did today because just felt like it. No, honestly, I'm gonna have to get rid of the whipped cream. It's gonna go bad very soon. So I was like, oh, I'll put whipped cream in it. And I was like, I can't just do whipped cream. Let me put chocolate and caramel. Good morning, Jessica. Um, I am laughing this morning. I am laughing. There's did you see the shootout? The ice. They raided the marijuana place, and the guy started shooting out with ice. I yeah, I was shocked about that. I was watching that video. I don't know. It was a standoff last I heard, so I don't know what came of it. Um, I got people all mad this morning on X because they were like, Superman's an illegal immigrant. And I'm like, if he applied, he'd get residency because he has skills that no one else has. And that's absolutely true. It doesn't matter what type of immigrant you are, illegal or not, you can apply for residency. And if you have skills that the US needs that no one else can fulfill, yeah, you'll become a legal resident. And they just don't understand it. Good morning, Sonny. Yep. Good morning. Um, and they're like, but he's illegal. And it's like, you gotta look this stuff up. Like, even if someone's legal, that's why they do the deportation hearings. When they do a deportation hearing, they're bringing the person in to find out, okay, do you offer anything to the United States? It's not just you're illegal, goodbye, go. It's not like that. There's like a questionnaire. That's why you get to bring uh, that's why you get to bring in an attorney. And they keep saying it's not due process. That's why it's due process. You get to have an attorney, legal counsel. You get to present witnesses. You get to present evidence. You get to confront your accusers. It's a civil court. Deportation court is a civil court. So, are there things that you don't get in civil court that you get in criminal court? Absolutely, because it's a higher threat of punishment. And coming into the country is a civil crime. Now, people were like, "There's no such thing as a civil crime." Really? Let's say civil offense. Okay, it's against the law. Even though it's civil, it's against the law. For me, anything against the law, I'm going to call a crime. Um, even if you can't get jail time for it. But yeah, it's a civil offense. It's like sexual harassment. I can't sexually harass somebody out in the street. Like, that's not illegal. I can catcall women all day long. Not illegal. The moment I do it in my workplace, that's when it becomes a civil offense. Discrimination. Discrimination is not a uh, it's not a it's not a criminal offense. Just like me with the ADA, when I was attacked on camera, and you guys can go into my service dog video, my service dog harassment videos, and you'll see where I was attacked. Uh, I've had people be like, well, "You should have left," and it's like, "No, I shouldn't have. I had a right to be there." Uh, and they're like, "Well, they can refuse service to anyone." True, they can. However, they first refused me service over the dog, and that's illegal. And I stayed because I needed an incident number. Because, see, had I left and then gone and made a complaint to the California Civil Rights Division, they would have said, okay, what proof do you have that this happened? And I wouldn't have had proof of anything. That's why, no, I'm going to remain here. When the sheriff comes to trespass me, I will happily take my trespass. I'll give him my ID, everything, and then I'll go. But then I've got an incident. I've got proof of the incident. It's now documented. And I wasn't being disorderly or anything like that. I was just sitting there talking to my camera. What blows my mind is the idea of someone coming in with legal status, then not reporting for annual paperwork, then crying about being deported after 20 years of missed immigration appointments. Yeah, you get a lot of those people. It it's pretty sad. And here's the thing. That's why anyone who does that, Jeff, should leave. Like, I want them out of here, because if you can't do the minimum, why should we keep you here? And here's the thing: you leave, and if you want to come back, you can reapply to come back. And uh, I understand a lot of people, they want. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to mention this. Hold on. I'm sorry. We're gonna take a short detour just because I've been wanting something like this. So clearly gay and then proud dad. This reminds me of the Norm Macdonald. Did you ever hear the Norm Macdonald bit where um, he was talking about, they did gay pride parade in San Francisco, and he's like, yeah, and dad there, he said he had a sign that said, "I'm proud of my gay son." And he's like, and then I started thinking about like at the water cooler, all the dads talking like, "Oh yeah, my son's got a scholarship. He's going to be a doctor. Yeah, my son, he's got a football scholarship. He's going to go to Stanford and play football." And oh yeah, you know what my son's really good at? My son is great at sucking dick. And he did that in San Francisco. He did that bit, and he's like, "Yeah, they hated it." And that's what I love about Norm Macdonald. He would do things that people hated because he found it funny. I've had a lot of people say, "You're not funny." My ex, other shows. And the thing about it is, you don't need to find me funny. Like, I don't care. When you tell me I'm not funny, all you're telling me is you have a shitty sense of humor. Hey, good morning, Big Dirt. Um, because if it's making me laugh, I know it'll make my friends laugh. And I love my friends' sense of humor. That's why they're my friends. Um, a lot of these people that just want to be offended, yeah. This is for Georgie today. Uh, I'm gonna respond to that tweet later. I bookmarked it so I don't have to. This whole immigration thing didn't start with Biden. It started way back with Obama saying that the immigrants could come over, the government would give them free stuff. It actually started before that. I mean, immigration for decades. We had illegal immigration, but yeah, with Obama, the expansion of what we were giving them definitely increased. I find you hilarious. Yeah, see, me and Georgie, we laugh. Uh, my dad jokes. I got to do more dad jokes. I got to put more of those out. Did you guys see what I put out last night? I didn't even check to see. Man, how many did that do? Only 45 views. Oh my God. You guys need to go on the YouTube channel and watch the short I put out last night. It's a Parks and Recreation clip. And it's really funny. And what's funny is all veterans, send it to a veteran. They will laugh at it because when you are in the delayed entry program, sorry, I just got to respond. Yeah, when you're in the delayed entry program, you go to the MEPS, the Marine Enlistment Processing, or Military Enlistment Processing Station. And here's the thing: if you know a veteran, an old guy has looked at their butthole because that's what happens at MEPS. At MEPS, it's all this like they're processing you. That's where you're going to take your ASVAB most times, not always. So don't say I didn't take my. I don't care. Okay, it's where most people are going to take their ASVAB. You're also going to go through a bunch of medical stuff. They're going to do a bunch of tests on you, eye, hearing, and whatnot. And they're doing basic screening, but they do need to make sure you don't have a hernia or a prolapsed anus. So guess what? They're going to look at your penis and your butthole. And so go watch the YouTube short that I put out last night and share it to every veteran. They will laugh their balls off. In fact, yesterday there's a Marine veteran that I follow on X, and he decided he wanted to come back into the Marines. and he's been talking about going to the prior service recruiter and everything. And I told him, I said, I hope they make you go back to the MEPS so an old dude has to look at your beehole. And he laughed. He laughed his balls off because us veterans, we love inappropriate humor. It's been an issue for decades. Now I see the activists are blaming Clinton's immigration reform laws. It goes way back before then. It goes all the way back to, I would say, Reagan and Carter is when illegal immigration, like, they were doing things, but because that was, the war on drugs, there was a lot of incentive to sneak across the border then. Um, and that's really when it started. Now, did it get out of control? No, no. Out of control started, I would say, in Bush, then it went to Obama, and the Biden administration was definitely out of control. But I've got all these people triggered on X that, like, they're just going off on me about Superman. Look, a lot of people are upset about the new Superman movie, claiming it's woke. There's a few I've seen say things like that, not all. Look at that. I got 26,000 impressions for the day already. Yesterday, I did 125, and I am at 3.5 million. I just need 1.5 million to get monetized, and we're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it. Every day, I'm getting closer and closer, and if I can get a couple 100,000 days, I will definitely hit it. I've got a good month where, as long as I average over, I'd say about 70,000 a day, I'm gonna make it. So, and at that point, Skipper will be monetized on every platform that I stream to except for Facebook. Facebook, then I'll focus on Facebook. Not at all, Skipper or Greg. You can post. I want people to follow me. If you're on X, send me a DM and I will happily retweet you. As I told people, like, I can give people a class now on how to do stuff on Twitter, um, how to build a following, how to get a lot of tweets. I think I've gotten very, very good at it. And uh, for a lot of people out there, uh, they do things wrong. They hit the like button on Twitter. The like button doesn't do a thing. You need to retweet and comment on people's stuff. And here's the thing. Send me a DM on X and I will add you to we've got a YouTube, like, fan group. And so I've got like 8 or 9 people in it. And it's just for stuff, just discussions. So I'm not doing a Discord. I have no plans to do a Discord. That would be my Discord. I do kind of have a veterans community on X. I'm just not active with it because X hasn't figured out communities yet. They really haven't. But and I'm in other people's communities, mostly veteran stuff. But if we wanted to create a community, I'm not opposed to it. It's just, if I do that, Skipper's not driving the train. I'm not going to be driving that. But with the DMs, absolutely. And if any of you guys, if you want to increase your Twitter and you need me to DM and comment, just shoot me, or you can put it in that group. You can either DM me or put it in the group DM. I will happily retweet people out and do stuff. And yeah, uh, and I'll sit and have a Twitter class with people because I've been on Twitter since 2011. It was either 2010 or 2011. I'll date it here. It was after Greg Giraldo died. And after he died, people were like, "Oh my God, he was so great on Twitter. He would retweet me. He would send me messages and stuff. He would respond." And I was like, I really loved Greg Giraldo. I missed out on that interaction with him. He was a great comedian. Uh, Loved his stuff. But yeah, that's what got me onto Twitter. Hey, Brett and Therese. Barry Cunningham has a great X community. I don't know who Barry Cunningham is. On X, it's a little bit different. Communities can be a good thing. I'm not going to run it. what I s- oh God. I'm gonna pull it up here, Greg. If you don't want me to put it on camera, let me know. I'm just looking. Yes, it did make me chuckle. Here, I'm gonna put it up. I put the one up yesterday that was like this. So there you go. Me and the gremlin running from a burning ship. This one looks like me. An old version of me, but it looks like me. Like the circles under my eyes are not that big. I do have them, but they're not that big. I've always said this. You notice how my nose is crooked? I may get a nose job just because two reasons. One, I want to fix that it's crooked. And two, when you get a nose job, your nose doesn't keep growing. Whereas if you don't have one, your nose will keep growing as you get older. So it becomes like this huge thing on your face. Your nose and your ears are the parts of your head that will keep growing. And so, yeah, Skipper is considering getting a nose job for those two reasons. But I don't think, I don't want to do a ton of, um, like, I'm not one of these California people who go and want a lot of plastic surgery done. Taking care of one, maybe two things, fine, got it. But some of these people who are like going in for an overhaul, it's like you just look weird. You just look weird. And I'll tell you someone who's got some pretty good plastic surgery done, even though I don't like it. But it has gotten a little bit ridiculous. Is Dolly Parton, and Dolly Parton is an incredibly. She's probably the smartest woman I can think of. She's incredibly smart. She's a great businesswoman. Um, she doesn't. She rarely ever gets controversial. Uh, she will from time to time, but rarely. But everyone talks about Dollywood, and I think Dollywood is a great idea. I think it is a great thing that she did. But your head shrinks, same as your spine. You become shorter. Well, that's true. Uh, I've never heard of your head shrinking, but I do know your ears and your nose still grow. Um, but do you know what Dolly Parton owns? And I'm not talking about her music. I'm not talking about Dollywood. She owns Medieval Times. And I forget what the name of it is, but it's the pirate show. Do you realize those make a shit ton of money? They're always in the big tourist areas. Those make so much money. They're all owned by Dolly Parton. Just because she was like, "Hey, I needed performers for my shows." And, you know, she was like, "I needed places for performers to go." Great idea. Most people don't think of that. Like for me, I was a logistics for so many years. And when you're in logistics, there's a term that we use, cradle to grave logistics. I'll tell you this, I built a billionaire's home. And I had a couple conversations with him about logistics. And he was like, "Yeah, my dad was a heavy equipment operator up in Alaska. He went up there because they hired him for that. Made a lot of money." And he was from Idaho or Montana. I can't remember which, but he then went back to Montana and started buying up copper mines, like the rights to copper mines. So while he's in Alaska, he's got people mining. Uh, like he was just leasing it out, and he was making money on the copper mines. And then he started his own mining companies and started mining. And then he started buying the rights to the trains so that he could move his copper from Montana to the ports. He started buying up the like he started buying the train tracks, not the actual trains. And then he's like, when I became of age and got into the company, I then started a shipping side of the business. So it's cradle to grave logistics. They mine the copper themselves. They ship the copper to the port themselves. Then at the port, it gets put onto shipping containers and sent all over the world. They're making money at every point in that logistical chain, in that supply chain. Incredibly smart. Hey, AVA, good to see you this morning. Night Owl Eyes, good to see you. Dolly and Reba went to help out in Texas. I thought that was awesome. Plus, others have stepped up and donated millions for Texas people. My heart breaks for the lost lives. Yeah, that's a tough one. Uh, but yeah, Dolly Parton, incredibly smart. And yeah, I'm always looking as a logistician. Here's the thing about logistics: you can always do it faster, cheaper. What was it? No, faster or cheaper. You can always do it one of those two ways. And once you start looking at things that way, if you can improve upon one of those, you're going to do well in logistics. Um, I am. You guys might see I might have a new sponsor. I'm in talks with someone who I'm currently doing business with, and they have a coffee company, and they've been focusing on Vietnamese coffee. So coffee coming from Vietnam, and I'm supportive of it. I think it's a great idea. And I said, look, if you want me to share or sell this coffee through the show, I'm happy to. And it's someone I'm already doing business with him on other fronts. We have a great relationship, and he's his website's up, but he's not selling through it yet. He's getting that established. So once he has that, you might see Skipper, and I'm going to try to talk him into getting other shows. I think it honors God, then it shows love for Jesus by remaining with President Trump, no matter how many sexual diseases that Miss Trump has suffered with. Okay, John. Look, that's a little bit ridiculous. Military logistic masters of the universe. You know, here's the thing: military are good at get it done, especially at logistics. Get it done, but that's not always the most effective. The military is, I will say this: the military is easily 20 years, probably 30 years behind its private entity counterparts. And before I came in the military, I worked at UPS, and I was a loader. I would have to wear a computer on my arm right here, and I had a little thing on my finger that you'd push it, and it would shoot for the barcode. Uh, and then what they were doing is they would print off the labels, slap them onto the ships. I would scan the truck. So every package I scan after I scan the truck, UPS knows, okay, that package is in that truck. And I would load the truck. The military has similar, but not as effective. What the military does is they will have they'll go through on a computer and put everything, all this equipment is going to be in this, and we call it an interrogator. Okay, and it's about this big, but it's a little bit thicker. Okay, and so the interrogator then I can put this on any of my vehicles, and now the military knows. But the problem with this is UPS was doing everything with barcodes. Every truck had a sticker on the side of it with a barcode, and where they didn't have an interrogator. This interrogator takes batteries. What happens when the batteries go dead? Now I don't know where this thing is. And this was a GPS thing. UPS doesn't have that problem. If the sticker wears down, we'll just print off a new sticker and throw it up there. There you go. 2 cents, if that. So the military is getting there, but it's not there yet. And I'll give you another example. When I was working doing the Dunkin' Donut project for a U.S. company, it was a U.S. company. It was a offshoot of a German company, but they were like with their logistics, it was a mess. But for this project, they hired UPS. Everything else they were doing cheap. But they were like, no, we need to know where every one of these things are. We need to guarantee they're at a certain time. So we're going to hire UPS for the project. So they hired UPS, and I was the logistics for that project. I had a project manager over in UPS, a Japanese guy out of Chicago, great dude, and I would talk with him at least 3 times a day about, hey, I got this. I need a machine here, or this machine is broke, so I need you guys to pick it up and replace it. And I would like you to replace it with this machine. Like it was those type of calls. And UPS is incredibly effective. FedEx is just UPS, FedEx, DHL, all great, all just as effective. And if you say, "Oh, they delivered my package, it was broken," that happens. Okay, that absolutely happens. I'm just talking big, very large level logistics. These are people who can guarantee stuff. Your USPS cannot guarantee stuff. UPS and FedEx, and it's also insured through them too. Uh, but they do very high level logistics and do it very well. And when I was working with them, I was like, hey, I started talking with the finance people. I was like, I see you guys are using uh, QuickBooks, I believe it was. And they're like, yeah. I go, do you have any plans on changing? They said no. And I then went over to the customer service people, and they were using Oracle. And I told the CEO of the company, I said, look, this is really a great thing. I go, because UPS systems, they talk to Oracle, and they talk to QuickBooks, and QuickBooks talks to Oracle. I go, so you can integrate all this stuff. I go, and I was actually kind of like putting myself out of a job. I said, because if you do that, right now I'm making phone calls. That will end our phone calls. I go, I could then transition into like the logistics side of your customer service. And, you know, I go, you wouldn't need me specifically for that other than to improve your logistics. I go, but your customer service people would know exactly what I know, and they wouldn't have to ask me a question. They would just be able to look it up right in Oracle because UPS, FedEx, DHL, they all use Oracle. So, um, that company just there were just people within the company who wanted power and control. I didn't. I was like, "No, put me out of a job. We'll find new duties for me." But because these all work seamless, absolutely. Uh, let's let's do things more efficiently and effectively. I even told him, I said, "You got a major problem in your warehouse. If you do this with me, I'll take over your warehouse and I'll have it unscrewed in less than a month." And they didn't believe me, but they had major problems in their warehouse, and I'd run warehouses before, like basic stuff they were doing wrong. But yeah, so I tried telling them that, and they just didn't want. They thought it was going to cost more money, and that's why they were all about doing things cheap. And it's like, okay, well, you can do things cheap, but you're going to get cheap services, and you're not going to get quality stuff. Um, Now, I say that because the military, uh, I can talk about the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps, they went to Oracle and said, hey, you're using your system with everyone else. We want to use it. Incredibly smart thing. Okay. So they hire Oracle, they bring them in. This would have been about 2012. And they said, okay, yeah, we want to do this. So the first problem they had is they didn't get enough servers. They tried it in Okinawa, worked great in Okinawa, and said, okay, put the whole Marine Corps on it. Well, the problem is you didn't have the servers. Okinawa, they had enough servers for Okinawa, but not the rest of the Marine Corps. So if you tried using GCSS Marine Corps during the day back then, it wasn't working. At night, when only Okinawa was on, worked great. So my solution was, hey, I have to keep the armory staff 24/7. I'm going to make the armorer who's there at night, he's my data entry guy for GCSS Marine Corps. And that's how I solved the problem. But yeah, that was a huge problem Marine Corps wide. The other problem was the military didn't just say Oracle works. we'll just completely use it. No. They were like, "We need you to change things. We call this, this. We call this, and we need you to change it." So when you're taking a system that everybody uses because it works, and now you're making changes to it, it's what I used to jokingly say. I used to say jokingly to all my enlisted guys, "Yeah, I'm the officer here, so I'm here to find out what works, and then I'm gonna fix it." Funny joke, right? And but the thing is, it's absolutely how so much of the military works and how, many officers are. They have this need to inject themselves. And it's like, well, if the process works, leave it the fuck alone. So there's a couple quick stories there about my military time of things that, some good lessons learned. I want to do a video about uh, why business owners, if you're a business owner, why you should hire military people. Uh, the problem is when I do videos like that, it ends up being a stream of consciousness um, from Skipper. So I actually have to write out a script and do it that way. But I will. It's something I want to do, and it's because of examples just like that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by some stuff. Oh, we got 3 people watching on Rumble. Thank you. Only 12 on X right now. I'll get a lot of replay watchers because I know that a couple of the people haven't tweeted it out yet that I sent it to. I've tweeted it out, but on X, getting other people to retweet. That's where you get everything. So I'm probably gonna wrap things up here in a minute. Bestie doing bestie things isn't working this morning. Tempted to steal a hoodie from the bestie in February. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I get Skipper mad. I hate it when women steal my hoodies. Like, hate it. I have taken things hostage from women. And they're like, you have to give me that back. I'm like, okay, provide my hoodie back and you'll get it. Like, my mom will steal my hoodies. So she took one of my hoodies, was like, oh, I love it. And she had no clue. It was actually from an adult film star. It was adult film star I was friendly with who sold merch. And if it's a friend of mine, I will always support. Like, you, if you got merch, I will support and buy your merch. And for a lot of my friends, for a lot of people who ask me to do things for them, I'll do it. But I'll tell you what, if you've bought my merch or you've done something to support my show, like you're always pushing out my show or doing like, I will bend over backwards. But I've got friends who, like, people I've known for decades, who are like, "Hey, could you mention this on your show?" And maybe it's like a business thing that they're doing. I'm like, "Yeah, I can," but I don't like jump at the opportunity. And it's like, well, you don't even watch my show. Like, we've been friends for decades, but you don't watch my show. Um, so you want me to support you? I'll give you the exact same amount of support that you give me, which isn't much. I'll do stuff. I'll do stuff. Because I always believe in being a better friend, um, than than most people, and I've said that on this show when people have said and done things like at the end of the day, I was a better friend to them than they were to me, and I believe that because I think that's I don't have I don't hold myself to perfection, but I think if I'm a better friend to people who than they are to me, I'm at least making the world a better place. Oh, yeah, yeah. I will do the matching hoodies with you. Absolutely. You That when you showed me, that was actually pretty cheap. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm down for that." 3 beers. Welcome, welcome. To that I say, "Only 3?" Uh, I'm just looking at someone's post here, sorry. Yeah, I just laugh about what some people do. It's funny. Um, I'm gonna start wrapping things up here in a minute. Thank you for all you guys who are watching. Make sure you give a like and a follow, all that good stuff. I do appreciate it. Oh, see, I say I'm going to start wrapping things up, and who jumps in but TC, who I gave the link to. He's always complaining, well, Skipper never gives me the link. The dude has the admin stuff. He can get in, but never jumps in. He needs he needs me to be active for him. But again, someone I've bought merchandise from TC. I have. Um, People who watch do anything to support this show. Yeah, you've sure you get ready to end it, right? Right. But yeah, people who do stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, you're helping me, so why would I not, do things to help out you? Like plug your stuff, push it out there. Encourage people to subscribe or to watch. Um, there's your therapist. That's kind of scary that TC's your therapist. But yeah, like it amazes me the people who, you know, will reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I'm selling these things." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Would you mention it on your show?" You've never come on my show, you've never watched my show, you've never shared it out, you've never, you know, n- you never done anything. I'm like, and that's why I laugh about there's so many entitled people out there. Not just that. Like, I'll get people who watch the show who tell me there are things that I need to do. You guys saw it the other day. We had a guy in there who was like, this intro song sucks. Like, first time I can remember the guy ever being in the chat. And I was like, okay, the intro song sucks, got it. Um, but I was like, if you're gonna jump right in and get on my shit, it's like, dude, you don't even know what I'm doing here. T Rex makes a great therapist. Rawr. uh, but yeah, like, and I'm just like, I'm like, okay, you just want to come in and spout off. And I've known that's happened to other creators. Like there's one guy I know who he was so successful, he had a studio, like leased an area to do his show, had a staff, had two people that he was paying to produce his show. And he was smart in while he did his show, he actually leased out the show to other creators. One example is Neil deGrasse Tyson rented from him. And he had a fan who came into his studio one day and just sat down and started like, oh, I guess this is nice, but you could have made it bigger. And he's like, I was doing my show prep and it was throwing me off. He goes, I had to throw the guy out. Like, dude, you're gonna be too much of a distraction. You gotta leave. And the guy like got pissed off and was tweeting about it. And it was like, no, dude, you came in and you immediately started criticizing. And oh, you're sitting in line at Dutch Brothers. Enjoy that. It may sound selfish, but I agree with you 100%. Right, Coop? Right? People don't know what it means to put yourself on camera, mic, and try to say things worth. Right, TC? Like it. Tell you, starting this stuff, it is scary. It is scary because you're putting yourself out there. I had people making fun of my appearance yesterday. Uh, it doesn't bother me. I'm very comfortable with my appearance. But when you're gonna do stuff like that, that's gonna happen. Like, and of course I'm like, dude, you're a dude. What do you care what I look like? The only guys who care what other guys look like are gay. And of course, then those guys got immediately defensive. And I was like, No, a couple gay men want to talk about me, I'll take their constructive criticism because, if gay men find me attractive or don't find me attractive, it means women are probably going to have the same thing. So I'll listen. Go right ahead. Please continue with your gay conversation. And they got all mad. And I was like, now why are you going to get mad about that? Like, oh, you want to criticize me, but you don't like when I can turn it around on you. Okay. But if you're gonna be on camera, or well, not even on camera, if you're gonna put things out publicly, like, and be a creator, you better be ready for the criticism. Absolutely. I'm actually kind of thankful for the criticism. Some of the criticism I've gotten has improved the show. Um, there's some things that people nitpick about that I'm like, I don't care. Right, TC? Not on this. I got very used to in the military speaking to large groups. You ever want a speaker to an event? Call Skipper. I am like 5 minutes. Hey, we need you to go talk to the Marines about this. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, we just need someone to say these things. Okay, well, I'll go up and do it. There's a lot more that goes into a stream than just streaming, especially when you do things like Coop and I do on stream. And lives are the laziest part. Doing videos is way more involved. Lives are just lazy. Uh, I do them, you guys do them, but yeah, and we put prep into those. I enjoy every creator show that I watch. Just saying, true. But we get people who are just they'll casually come in and just immediately. Well, I don't like this. I don't like. And it's like, well, you're not a fan of the show, so why would I do things to you and you might not stick around? The planned cooking stream was nerve wracking. Yeah, yeah. The ones that have issues are the ones usually aren't live on camera and do not know what it's like. True. Or like Mikey works on behind the scenes work is insane. I'm always thinking, what can I do to improve? Always. And sometimes it's little things like Lacey and the thing right there, the shooter thing. Sometimes it's stuff on the soundboard, you know, constantly making that better. Now I do so much content, I get invited to do speaking events. Yeah, and that's always where my goal kind of was, to be able to travel and talk to veterans. That's always been a goal of this channel. Now, some people want me to do big events. Some people want me to do a veterans community. All that takes a lot of work, and not all that work am I willing to do right now. I'm not saying no. Right now, it just doesn't work. As an old USMC sergeant, I'm in the same way. I was at here in 29 Palms. If you ever visit, I don't know why you would, but if you ever do, there's a great pizza place called Rocky's Pizza. It's been here for years, and it's family owned. Really nice people there. And I was there yesterday. I went. I got Stromboli, or I'm sorry, no, I got a calzone, and I met a retired Marine, a retired Master Gunny, uh, and we had a nice little discussion. I don't know if he watches the show. I don't even know if he knows who I am, but if he does, Stu, it was a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Uh, but yeah, talking with him yesterday, it's always good to talk to the old core guys, uh, because it's a good reminder as where we've been and where are we taking this thing in the future. People knew what my kind of work goes into, even in drive time dialectic. Right, right. And this is kind of like the conversations I'm having with people in the DoD who are getting laid off right now. They're all complaining about it, and I'm like, wait, 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 wait. Have we done our best? Because in at least in my command, there's a lot of well, this is the way we've always done it. And it's like, well, okay, but that doesn't make it right. It's the way you've always done it. Is there a better way of doing it? And that's what we should be focusing on. Like, what can we be doing to improve the DoD, the Marine Corps, everything 5, 10, 15, 30 years into the future? And that's where I get a lot of frustration because, I'll tell you this, I do a lot on Microsoft Teams and I do a lot with, I'm, I'm learning Power BI. I do a lot with SharePoint for my day to day job. I get a lot of pushback. Marines love Microsoft Excel. I love Microsoft Excel. Great program. And I am very good at it. I've had people, they're like, wow, how did you do that? And I was like, I was a Marine Corps logistics officer for 17 years. Well, actually, for 10 years. Um, actually, no, 11. Um, and it forced me to get very good into spreadsheets. Like I can do some like my buddy's like, hey, I got this spreadsheet. I need it to do this. I'm like, oh yeah, we can do that. And I might have to look up what the actual formula is. I'm like, but we can definitely do that. And I've helped him with several things like where it's reduced his work time. Um, like we haven't figured out yet, but I'm like, dude, you need to start doing pivot tables. Uh, what that's going to look like, I can't tell you because I don't know what your job is every day. But I can tell you by the questions that you're asking me. If you create a pivot table in your Excel document, and I know this is nerdy stuff, um, if you create a pivot table, it'll do a lot more for you. And he's like, oh, okay. Oh, dude, everybody in the military loves PowerPoint. They love PowerPoint. And I'll tell you, like, I'll tell you guys things we're working on right now. We are creating dashboards, and that's why I'm learning Power BI. We are creating dashboards, and my goal with Power BI is so that we don't have to have a staff meeting every week. That is my goal. Turn our weekly meeting into an every other week thing using Power BI because I get all these people who love PowerPoint. And as I'm building their dashboards, I'm like, here's all you need to do. And then when they're like, oh, so when I go to the commander's brief, I only need to do a screenshot and put this in PowerPoint. And I'm like, or you could just tell them, pull up my dashboard, and it's real-time information right there. Like, why are we adding extra steps? But that's how the military is. They're very set in their ways. And I'm like, yeah, you guys, you know, years ago, we cut the size of the military. We trimmed a lot of fat, good and bad, from the military. And now they're doing it to the civilian force. And all these people who are fighting it, I'm like, don't fight it. I go, this is what we need. And they're like, well, they're doing it for this and this. I'm like, they're doing it because we screwed up. We screwed up. We got too into this is how we do it, and there's better ways out there, and we've created more positions to make what we do better rather than, hey, let's make it more efficient. So yeah, these cuts to the government are a great thing, and especially to the DoD. I'm a homeless disabled veteran in Oklahoma. The VA told me I need to get to a more urban area for more services. Okay, I don't drive. How am I supposed to get there, and why would I stay? I'm 65. Mr. Wells, I'm assuming you're a man. Yeah, that is the problem with the VA. The VA needs to get out of the hospital business. Like they should say, you know what, community care is so successful. We need to put all veterans in community care. And you should contact the VA and say, if you can't get me an appointment, put me into community care today. You still might have to drive to a doctor, but the chance of you finding one locally are going to be better than having to go to the VA. Uh, Specialists are not in rural areas, so you still might need to travel a bit, but that would be the case even if you had regular insurance. But if you get into community care, there's people. I've had all these people fight with me and say, and it's normally liberals where I'm like, hey, look, Greatest thing Obama did for the VA is he created community care. Greatest thing Trump ever did for the veterans was he signed the Mission Act, which meant we all could use community care. Like, they created this great program and then said, no, you can't use it. You can't use it. You can use it. You can't use it. Trump was like, why? No, everybody who wants community care can go into community care. And it's a great thing. Um, I'll give Biden credit for the PACT Act. He signed the PACT Act. The problem with the PACT Act is it expired. Like, people don't realize that. Like, if you go and apply for the PACT Act now, you are going to get less money and less services than what I got. Why? Why did we put expiration dates? It's ridiculous. But yeah, you should go into community care. The VA should just start giving all of its hospitals to Health and Human Services and let them run those hospitals or sell those hospitals, whatever they want to do. And there should be no VA hospitals. There should be no VA doctors. We just start going to regular doctors and the VA pays. Like, the VA should just be a health insurer. Like, because then when we don't get adequate care, the VA becomes our friend and not our enemy. Just looking for housing while homeless. Um, I do know, I think she's still in Oklahoma. I do know a service officer, Mr. Wells. Down below, I have a phone number and an email. You can reach out to me anytime through those. And when you do, the phone number, if you're ready to copy, I'll read it to you. But right there, I'm on Twitter. You can reach out to me on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you can send me an email. The phone number is 225-395-1838. 225-395-1838. I can get you in contact with a VSO. You can call your county and they'll probably, or your congressperson, they'll help you get a VSO as well. But that would be the biggest thing. Yeah, you got to add yourself to the wait list for HUD VASH. But that's what a VSO will tell him. But you can reach out to me and we can have a discussion and we can talk about your specifics offline, so you don't have to put things out there. But yeah, and right there's the number. Say it in the ticker: 225-395-1838, and it'll come back around again. You can reach out to me and I will tell you specific things that you should be asking about. And people who want me to be a VSO, this is why I'm not a VSO, because I can give more frank advice to someone like Mr. Wells than a VSO could. If I became a VSO, I become limited. I don't want to be limited. I want to be able to truly help veterans. Like, VSOs help veterans, but I can help them, give them the information that they need to tell the VSO. Because the VSOs are not supposed to be, they're not supposed to solicit any type of information. And here's the other thing I will say. I will talk with you. Skipper is also limited as to what help I can provide. I don't live in Oklahoma. I will do certain things to help you, but there's also limits to the help that I provide. So don't get mad at me if I can't do what you want me to do. I will have limitations. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Just because I'm going to get going. I'm going to try to get into work a little bit early today because there's things happening. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to go on the Veterans Cruise with us, reach out to us. Reach out to me. Reach out to Georgie. I don't know. Coop's not much in the Madam Mayor's adventures are, but Coop's not, like, he's in the discussions, but not like big time in the discussions. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be. But if you reach out to us, yeah, we can get you all the information. We're into the planning stages, folks. Like, we are slapping the table on stuff. So, all right, Skipper's gonna get going. Make sure if you're in the Facebook group, please share Stacy Woodson. She's a big fan of the show. Share her GoFundMe. She's dealing with cancer, and we want to help her out. She's not a veteran, but she is a good person who supports us. Again, I will support anyone who supports me. No questions asked. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.
the sun peeks through the haze, and birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore, morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore, morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.